Okay, so I would like to thank all of you on behalf of the organizing committee that you attended Bio-Ontologies. Without you and your contributions, scientific and otherwise in terms of discussion, this would not have been possible. It's not entirely over, this meeting. We still have a poster session for lunch. Please attend this poster session. But there are some things that we still need to discuss. And first things first, so we will again have extended versions of your papers, in particular of the 6 short papers which were not part of the proceedings, which we're planning to publish in the Journal of Biomedical Semantics in the thematic series. And for this, we will select the papers to invite, and the invite will be sent very shortly. The deadline is planned to be October 1st. Some of you who have only a poster or a flash talk here may also be interested in submitting an extended version of your work to the Journal of Biomedical Semantics. Because the deadline is very tight, you should talk to me. You can find me during the poster session so we can discuss if this is feasible. Okay. More importantly, from next year onwards at ISMB, there will be no topics, there will only be the COSIs. So the COSIs will be this conference. So Bio-Ontologies will be fully integrated. So this year, when you submitted to the proceedings, you had to select some topics, and they were in different areas. They did not very well align with, for example, Bio-Ontologies and a number of other COSIs. So one change will be that Bio-Ontologies is one part of ISMB, and it's going to be one part. And we also encourage you from next year onwards to directly submit to the proceedings tract and select Bio-Ontologies as the COSI of your interest if you work either on ontologies, knowledge-based analysis, or text mining. But more importantly, the COSIs are also being integrated in the ISCB. So this is the International Society in Computational Biology, which organizes and runs this conference. So Bio-Ontologies should and will become something more than an annual meeting or track at ISMB. In particular, it's going to be a proper special interest group within the ISCB, which can do more things and in which you can and should be involved if you want to. So there's a lot of opportunity for engagement and for building a community around our common theme, and also for more activities than just this one meeting once a year. So the hope is that there will be activities of this special interest group which happen year-round. And for this, of course, we need to build a community. At the moment, this meeting was run by the organizing committee, mainly, which are the 4 organizers, and the program committee, so we got a lot of help from the program committee on this. But mainly this was what Bio-Ontologies was about. And if we want to build a community with some activities that go beyond this meeting, then this community needs to be first built. And this is something that why I asked you to stay a little bit here, because you hopefully would be interested in getting involved and becoming a core part of this community. And the question is, first, what such a community would actually do. So what is it that a special interest group as part of the ISCB would be able to do? And some ideas that we have is, and we have been asked about this already, is, for example, training materials. So we are running, so Michelle and I have been running now already a few years the tutorial at ISMB on ontologies, which basically gives an introduction, a basic introduction into our field. And it tries to do both. It tries to get new people on board and give them an introduction in ontologies, and it also tries to show what are the current research areas, what is the hot topic in ontologies. And we have some tutorials, but many of you will have also built tutorials, and we have already been asked, and our tutorial material is there as under a Creative Commons license, so you can use it. but it would be nice to build up some form of this material. I know there are more people here who give courses and they give lectures, semester-long courses which involve ontologies, and it would be very nice if they would be also able to contribute their material, and this could be collected under the umbrella of such a community. This goes beyond just tutorials and slides. I mean, it's, for example, a Jupyter notebook or code examples. We have heard how hard it is to use OWL API, and OWL API is something that is at the heart here of what we do. If we want to make ontologies work for us, so if we want to do that, then it would be really great if there would be, for example, some brief tutorial, not for bioinformaticians, what are the hard parts and what are some sample code on how to use OWL API. I know they have this, but it's not actually targeted very clearly to bioinformatics analysis, so what to do with ontologies and how to use the OWL API or some semantic similarity libraries and things like this would be very useful to add there. Then we thought about there is actually need for outreach, because we as a community have quite a hard time attracting young people. So when we look here, there are now actually this year quite a few students again, which is really great to see. But in the past, there are some meetings where there are very few students. So attracting new, and we have also heard why this is the case, because ontologies as a field, it's when we compare ontologies to machine learning, then some students feel that ontologies are not very attractive. Machine learning is really attractive, so let's do machine learning. We don't want to do anything with ontologies. And there's, this might be true, but of course, we have also seen a lot of exciting work by our young participants who would be taking this field forward. So I think this is something where there's some outreach needed, also some support, and there could even be regional meetings and regional groups which could be formed. For example, in your city, it could be within a city or within a university. It could be within a country, or it could be within a whole region. And then we need reviewing, and there's another change which is going to happen. So every COSI will give out Best Poster Awards starting next year. So there will be a Best Poster Award for Bio-Ontologies, which is great, because at the moment, I don't think anybody actually hopes to submit a poster to ISMB, and there are 2,000 posters which are submitted, and to actually get a poster award here, it's completely, it's not very likely. I mean, it's just not very likely, and it's also not very likely to really select the best poster out of 2,000 or 1,000 posters, because it's virtually impossible. But starting next year, we are going to give a Best Poster Award, or this conference is going to allow every COSI to give a Best Poster Award. It will be an ISMB Best Poster Award assigned by our COSI, so by Bio-Ontologies, which is great, and it will also hopefully attract some more people. But of course, we need some procedure, and it's more work. We need some procedure to assign the Best Poster Award. We also need some procedure to review our papers. So there is some reviewing and some evaluation which was needed. And then there's sponsorship. So at some point, so this year we had the opportunity, I think, to sponsor 2 travel awards just for the COSI. So for Bio-Ontologies, at least 2 presenters here received a travel award. And if we would be able to engage companies in different areas, for example, by adding another travel fellowship for some participants, it would also help, in particular, students or researchers in countries which might not be receiving very much research funding. So these are just some ideas of what this community might be able to do, and what our COSI within the ISCB might be able to do. There are some things that we have started to do, and I would, because we can describe this, and we can maybe talk a little bit, but all of you are going to go away at the latest tomorrow, and then the question is, how can you join if you wanted to, or how can you add some ideas? So we will not have the time to discuss everything here and now, but I mean, we still have a little bit of time, so we can have a discussion. But we started to create some ways for all of us to communicate. And there are 2 things mainly. So we did not actually have, as a COSI, a mailing list where you could send us feedback, or where there just would be general discussion on bio-ontologies. In fact, there are very few email or mailing lists on bio-ontologies in general. There are some within specific communities, in particular the OBO. So many of you might be on some OBO discuss lists, which is great, but it's not not entirely bio-ontologies. So, and also not related to what we are doing here. And we also created a Slack, and I encourage all of you to join the Slack instance. There is an invitation link on our website. So if you go to the Bio-Ontologies website, down there is bio-ontologies.org.uk. If you go to this website, on the very top, we added the invitation link. So if you want to join our Slack instance, just click on the link and you're allowed to join. And for this, there are already a couple of channels for different types of discussions. So for example, for education and training, for different types of outreach. We also try to be more present as a community on social media, which includes, for example, Twitter and also Facebook, but this is something that we are building up. Apparently our Twitter account just got blocked because we accidentally reduced our own age of this meeting to less than 11 years or something, and that means you cannot use Twitter if you're too young. So anyway, this will require some work. And then finally, we also have, and we can take this as a cozy. So as Bio-Ontologies, we have in the past used the Journal of Biometrical Semantics, and there's a branch of this which is essentially for this meeting, where we have published editorials, where we have published papers, which were presented here, so short papers. And this is something that we can also take forward, and we can, for example, if there are some interesting topics and somebody would like to invite, or have something like a special issue, or so, would like to suggest some special topics within us, we can use the Journal of Biomedical Semantics to also get this published. And we have to, so this is something we'll have to discuss with the editorial, with the editors-in-chief there, but they have in the past been very supportive, and they have given us essentially free reign of our part of the JBMS. So this is our part of the JBMS, and we were essentially allowed to do whatever we want to do. So this is something, so these are some ideas of what we can do as a community, and I think that is it. And I would really like, if you have now, and we can either have a bit of a discussion here, we have about 20 minutes left in the session, or we can leave now and go to the poster session and have a discussion over poster and lunch. So it's up to you, but if you have any comments, please, or suggestions, please please say something. Please, if you could use the microphone so we can
I think this is great. I think it's definitely moving in the right direction, and I'm excited to help out where I can. I actually wanted to give a round of applause to Rod and Michelle, or the organizers, for running this.
Thank you. Okay. So if nobody wants to comment on this, I would very, very much encourage you, in particular also our students, to engage with this community, because if you don't, then this community is going to fail, and it's just going to be a meeting again. And there are a lot of opportunities that we can build upon, and we will get a lot of support, including financial support from the ISCB. So there are lots of opportunities for moving our field forward and our research. So I very, very much encourage you to engage through any of these channels. Thank you very much, and with these words, I close this meeting. Thank you.